Tonga is going into lockdown after uncovering 5 COVID cases thought to be linked to international aid deliveries arriving on the tsunami-devastated islands. Two port workers in the capital Nuku'alofa, where aid shipments are being unloaded, tested positive for the virus late Tuesday before another 3 cases were discovered among their family members, including 2 children. It marks the first time Tonga has experienced community spread of the virus, having previously suffered just 1 case in a traveler who arrived from New Zealand and tested positive in quarantine. The Pacific Island nation has pursued an aggressive zero-COVID strategy that has complicated aid deliveries as the government insists they should be contact-free with all supplies quarantined for 3 days to avoid spreading the infection. It is unclear exactly how the virus was able to infect the port workers, or where it originated. Australian defence chiefs say a warship currently docked in Tonga does not appear to be the source, despite a COVID outbreak on board. Tonga's health chiefs have not given a rationale for their zero-COVID policy, given that 60% of the population are fully vaccinated against the virus, but several factors are likely to play a part. The islands have limited healthcare facilities that would be quickly overwhelmed if cases were to spread rapidly, while obesity rates among the population are significantly above average, with obesity making death from COVID more likely. Almost 60% of Tongan men and 45% of women are obese, compared to a regional average of around 30% for men and women. A study by the World Obesity Federation published in March last year found that COVID death rates are 10 times higher in countries where more than half of adults are overweight or obese, such as the UK, US, and Italy. Tonga has been largely reliant on foreign aid for survival since the Tonga volcano erupted on January 15 with the strength of an atomic bomb, triggering a devastating 50 feet tsunami and ash cloud that blanketed the islands. Entire island communities were swept away by the wave, with water supplies contaminated by saltwater and ash. Crops were also destroyed, leaving the islands facing a food crisis. Australia, New Zealand, the United States, China, France, Fiji and Britain have all sent ships carrying relief supplies including drinking water, medical kits and engineering equipment. Japan has sent aid by air. Australia's HMAS Adelaide docked in Nuku'alofa to unload supplies last week, despite a coronavirus outbreak among its crew. But the Australian Defence Force's Operations Chief, Lieutenant General Brett Bilden, said the Nuku'alofa outbreak doesn't appear to have evolved from the Adelaide. All offshore deliveries are subject to strict no-contact protocols in a bid to keep the virus at bay, including leaving goods in isolation for 3 days before they are handled by Tongans. Bilden said the warship, which has recorded 51 COVID-19 cases among its 630-strong crew since leaving Brisbane last month, berthed in a different area of the harbour from where the 2 local men were working. We unloaded in a manner that was COVID-friendly, contactless, in line with arrangements made with Tongan officials at the wharf, Bilton told Sky News Australia. So I don't think Terry's any connection, Terry's no evidence of that. He said the Tongan government had asked the Australians to take samples from the infected men away for analysis to identify the strain of coronavirus and help identify its source. Prime Minister C.L.C. Sovaleni announced late Tuesday that Tonga would enter a lockdown at 6 p.m. Wednesday, with the situation reviewed every 48 hours. Large queues formed at supermarkets in the capital as residents prepared to hunker down for an extended period. The stay-at-home order means all businesses and schools must close, with only essential services allowed to operate. Tonga closed its borders in early 2020 as the coronavirus pandemic swept the globe. Until this week, it had recorded just one case of COVID-19, a man who returned from New Zealand last October and has since fully recovered. The blast from the Tonga high volcano, which lies about 40 miles north of Nuku'alofa, forced a slight relaxation of the border rules to deal with a situation the Tongan government has described as an unprecedented natural disaster. The eruption, one of the biggest recorded in decades, generated massive tsunami waves and blanketed the island nation in Tonga, claiming 3 lives. A United Nations update late last week said drinking water remained Tonga's main challenge and about 1,500 people were still displaced. Communications remain patchy after the eruption damaged an undersea cable that connects the country to the rest of the world. Officials said a specialist cable repair ship was expected to arrive this week and would take at least 2 weeks to fix the damage.